Calling from a 610 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Michael.
Yes.
It's Michael from Pennsylvania. How are you?
Hey, you cocky son of a bitch. This is John from San Antonio. You better mind your P's and Q's. I'll smack the taste out of your mouth.
Now, do you have the board ready?
I do. Is the board ready, Matt? I should ask you.
Breaking news.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
The U.S. Supreme Court has denied the stay in the PA gerrymandering case.
Great. Good. So where does that leave us?
Justice Alito has denied the Pennsylvania GOP. So we will have a new districts in Pennsylvania.
That's really, really big news for 2018.
Yes, it is. Huge news.
So how does that break down?
Because the League of Women... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. How does that break down? What do these districts look like? What kind of seat pickups are we talking about?
So this was the most gerrymandered state in the country. Some people argued it was North Carolina. But basically, from a historical perspective, no other state has ever been gerrymandered this much. So, for example, we won the majority of congressional votes in 2012, and the Republicans got 5 seats. I'm sorry, the Republicans got 13 seats, and the Democrats got 5 seats. So, they get 53% of the vote, and we get 20% of the seats.
So losers.
That's that's fake, losers right there.
Fake news.
So we're gonna. So as far as like nationally, we're gonna get one more safe Democratic seat for sure, and then there's gonna be probably another 6 toss-up seats, and I'd say like 5 of those are lean Democratic, and one's like a true toss-up state.
Wow.
So
this is a big, very big deal.
It's gonna be a huge game.
Now, what is this talk about? And now Republicans weren't complying with this, but now, I mean, was it because they were waiting for the court to hear back from the Supreme Court, and now they sort of have? I mean, as sort of reckless as they are, I mean, what recourse? They don't have any recourse now, short of like Trump declaring martial law.
There
for Pennsylvania.
There's more stuff they can do just to kind of keep the legal process churning.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, what will happen is if they don't get maps, basically Pennsylvania will not go back to the old gerrymandered maps. What they'll do is they'll just say we have 18 at-large seats. So when you go to vote in November, every Pennsylvanian will have 18 votes for Congress. So we could end up, if that were to happen, it would be a statewide election for 18 congressmen, which is totally legal under federal statute. So
that could be good.
That would be very good. They would never do that. That's
right.
That's not.
That would be too good. That would be too good. So
yeah.
So what kind of Democratic candidates are we talking about here too? Like, so again, I'll just make the obvious distinction. We're not going to do the Jimmy Dore stupid thing. So we want all Democratic pickups, but at the same time, we know that most Democrats suck. So are we talking about stop the bleeding, put in a hack Democrat over a fascist, or are we also talking about potentially a couple of people in Congress that might actually be really good left populist Congress people?
So the answer is we have a lot of really left-wing candidates in Pennsylvania now. Just this weekend, we had what's known as the Keystone Progress Summit, mm-hmm. which all the far-left groups in Pennsylvania come together. And for example, I got to talk with Larry Krasner for a while.
Oh, great.
Talk about that if you want. I met the Papa's campaign manager. He's the guy DSA candidate who challenged the Costa family in Pittsburgh for district justice. He's the one who is refusing to evict people. I don't know if you saw that story.
No, that's great. Send it to me. We'll do a shout out on TMDS. Send that to me.
And, so there's like two, there's a bunch of really great people running for Congress, but the two that are kind of in the suburbs and exurbs, one is Jess King, who's running in kind of the Harrisburg, Lancaster area.
Mm-hmm.
And another one is Gregory Edwards, who's running for the 15th in my district. And, these are endorsed by Justice Democrats, PCCC. You go down the line. So we're getting much, much better candidates as well. It's not just...
And they're talking, are they talking, I'm assuming in these districts, like I would assume they would have had to advance on social issues because the Democratic Party generally, on the right, has moved in the right direction on, transgender rights, all of these issues. But to the kind of broader appeal in those districts, are they getting really serious about the inequality and economic message?
So, what's really interesting about these candidates is they are running on a strong anti-incrementalist message.
Mm-hmm.
The time for slow progress is over. The time for big leaps is now, $15 minimum wage. Jimmy Reefer Cake, listen, legalized marijuana.
Right.
Not decriminalized.
Legalize it.
And you go down the line.
No more bullshit. Just legalize with. Don't worry about decriminalizing. Right. That's a good example of that. Right.
And so that's the exciting part.
Do you also think, I actually read a piece, and I've been thinking a little bit about as we head into 2018. President Obama's he's gonna reemerge in a much more significant way, and
God, I hope not.
Well, I'm kind of two minds with this because I think, and that's what I'm curious is that yes, policy-wise, his legacy, all of these things. Even some of it with the national security stuff. Alona and I needed to go over it. There's a lot of problems with the politics that Obama represents. At the same time, he's now up to a 60% approval rating. He is, a very look. For reasons that are obvious, right? He's an incredibly likable person. If you have a personal issue with Barack Obama, I'm very skeptical of you.
Oh,
right?
You're an asshole.
Right? Yeah, you're probably you're an asshole, right? And it does seem to me that he's going to come out and he's going to do his brand and he's going to do the purple state stuff, but he doesn't seem like he has he doesn't seem opposed to, and what's distinct from him with, his politics and his preferences are to the center right, and I disagree with. On the other hand, he doesn't seem like he's not a Tony Blair kind of figure. He's going to be willing to go out and campaign with left candidates. Ironically, Phil Murphy, right? Jesus Christ, he's a Goldman Sachs guy and an Obama ambassador. So there's a lot of question marks. The ambassador part, not really, but the Goldman part. But his campaign, he campaigned on infrastructure. He campaigned on a state bank. He campaigned on inequality. He campaigned on weed legalization. And he was one of the $15 minimum wage. He was one of the only people in 2017 that Obama went out strong for. So I'm wondering, in some ways, can Obama be, he might be just he just is that charismatic presence. And if he gets on board with people talking the economic talk, he might be a real asset.
Yeah, the thing about Obama, as long as he's leading from the point of view of charisma and organizing people and broad appeal, I'm all for it.
Right.
If he's bringing his consultants, class,
right,
and his political advisors, I don't want any of that.
Right. Right.
And it's something that Larry Krasner said to me. He goes, Mike, in my race, I was told to be unelectable. And the thing is, my piece of advice for everybody who wants to run for office right now is be unelectable. Yeah. He was the pro bono representative of Black Lives Matter in Philadelphia.
Right.
He supported Occupy Wall Street pro bono.
Right.
These groups, knew that he was on their side. And that was supposed to be stuff that made you unelectable.
Right.
But the opposite happened. He got, turnout in the DA race in Philadelphia went up 70%. He got more votes for DA than anyone has in 30 plus years.
Right.
So that's the advice. So as much as, listen, I like Barack Obama's brand as much as the next guy.
Right.
But I think that this wave is happening because people want changes in policy and
Definitely.
are rejecting the Republicans.
No,
So,
I think there's
a
lot of places in the country where, Obama and Bernie Sanders would be the most, exciting people for people to see. And one is because, it's just an incredibly likable person and a reminder of when there was a person who was a fully functioning adult who was president, and the other, I think, is because,
Yes.
I mean, Bernie Sanders is obviously speaking to really a lot of the moment right now, and that's what people are going to need to speak to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this moment is, I've been in politics for a while, and this is one of the most exciting times we've ever had, because in 2006 and 2008, it was more of a rejection of Bush.
Right.
But now we have that rejection of the GOP, but we also have this class consciousness growing, that new ideology, people doing, they're not just reacting in a rage to what's going on. They have a plan. They have a vision for a better future, which is the thing the left has been missing since the 30s.